Your graduated transition scale is going to have a clear difference between the dark and the next value over. Okay, so you'll approach the darkest square the same way, but this time you're going to draw the values so that we'll say this is 9 on a scale of 1, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so with your 9 being the darkest, you're still going to approach the 9 the same way here that you did there, but rather than make a transition across the squares, these two squares are going to be clearly graduated, a graduated difference. But look how dull my 6B pencil is. 6B pencil gets dull really fast because it's soft. You have to sharpen this. You have to keep this pencil sharp. So I've sharpened my pencil. Now we want this square on the graduated scale, the 9 on the graduated scale, to be just as dark as the 9 on the smooth scale. A lot of students, when they go from a smooth scale to a graduated scale, for some reason make the 9 on the graduated scale lighter. But you don't want any grain of the paper sticking through. This is just as dark as this 9 up here. Okay. So this is a graduated scale. So we're going to use a 6B for the 8, but we just won't make it as dark, so we won't do as many layers. So this is one layer, right? Still too light. Now I'm on the second layer. Still too light. Okay, so now I'm working on a third layer. It's getting darker, but it's still just a little bit too light. So one more layer and that ought to do it. Okay, so you see how there's a clear jump from the dark, from the 9 to the 8. Okay, so I'm still going to use my 6B to go into my 7, but I'm not going to put as many layers. As you're shading this in, you can squint your eyes and compare it to the 7 above. Okay, so that's still too light. I'm going to switch to my 4B. And I'm just going to put a little bit more of a layer on this one, so that you have a graduated transition, not too big of a jump between the two. I can even put a little bit more, layer a little bit more on here. Okay. And then I'm going into the 6 with the 4B. So the 4B is not as soft as the 6B, so it's easier. I'm just keeping light pressure and doing layers, but it's easier to keep your 6 on the scale a medium value when you're using a 4B, because the 4B is not as soft as the 6B. Now I'm going to switch over to I'm going to do a very light layer of 4B with on the 5 and switch over to the B pencil. And so I'm going to switch over to the B pencil and add another layer. You can go back into the darker values and tighten it up with the B pencil. So this is still a little bit lighter than that. Really, this is a 4, right? Okay, and this 6 is a little lighter than that 6. So I'm going to make my 6 a little bit darker, just a little bit, not too much, so that I can make my 5 a little bit darker. With the 4, I'm going to do a very light layer of B with an H on top. Now I like to mix the H when I'm going to transition from a B pencil to the H pencils. I like to make the transition with a layer of B mixed with H, because the H is almost too big of a jump. There's not very much binder in it, and so it looks like a different medium, really. But if I combine them, overlay the H on top of the B, then it makes a better transition between the H and the B pencils. Okay, so I can go ahead and just do my H pencil onto my 3. Keep light in the pressure. And this is still quite a bit lighter than that, so just be patient. Add more layers. And then I'm going to switch over to my 4H pencil for this square, for the 2, and then my 6H for the 1. You have to slow down in order to make a blended transition with the pencil, so that you minimize the amount of lines when you're doing smooth shading. And again, you can still go and layer on top of the darker values with the lighter graphite if you want to tighten them up a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to switch to my 6H pencil for the last square. And just keep real light in the pressure. If you press hard, you're not going to get very dark with the 6H, but what you'll do is ruin the paper, because the 6H is so hard that it's almost like a needle tip. And if you press too hard, you'll just scratch the paper up. And you'll create bevels, which is basically like a valley in the texture of the paper. Okay, so that's your graduated transition.